NellecommaKay fam, it's your girl Kay back at it again with another video. If you're new here, welcome to the fam. We're so glad you can make it. We hope you stick around a little. And if you're not, what's good, what's up? Welcome back. As you can tell by the title of this video, this will be our very first story time on the channel. Whoop whoop. But yeah, this is gonna be about my college, my freshman year college roommate experience. I feel like you always hear about how people have like that crazy experience, like, but I never thought, like, when I was still in high school, I was like, yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be me, whatever. Like, I hope it's gonna be cool. But life happens, you know. But that being said, let's get right into the video. For the sake of homegirl's privacy, I'm not gonna use her real name. So let's call her Marie, right? May use a couple other fake names, may not, trying to still figure that out. But yeah, freshman year, I lived at the W.E.B. Du Bois College House. Arguably one of the best college houses at the University of Pennsylvania. But yeah, I essentially chose that dorm because it was considered the black dorm on campus and it had suite style housing. So as a freshman, I wouldn't have to have a communal bathroom. I'd only be sharing a private bath with my roommates. So I lived in a triple, so I was sharing my bathroom with two girls, and then we each had our private bedroom, and then we shared a kitchenette, so we had like a mini fridge instead of a full-size fridge, and then like those stove tops or whatever, and then the living room, right? So boom boom, it was cool. I really liked it. Great place to live, really gave me that sense of community, and I think like helped me to establish like my friend groups for the rest of my time at Penn, right? So yeah, even though it was considered like the black dorm, there was other people of color that lived there, and you know, some white people too. So you know, because I mean, at the end of the day, it was still BWI, right? So yeah, so I had two roommates because I lived in a triple. It was Rugi, who I'm so cool with today, and then Marie, right? So Rugi, Marie, and I, we honestly started getting cool with each other real quick, you know. I'm pretty sure they have this everywhere, but you know that week that they have for freshmen to like a week of freshman orientation, essentially. So we called ours New Student Orientation, or NSO for short. So throughout all of NSO, we hung out together. And then along the way, there was this boy who lived across the hall from us, Abraham, and we became cool with him too. So it was like essentially the four of us. Like, that's basically who I navigated my first semester at Penn with. Yeah, like that's basically who I hung out with, who I went to dining halls with, who I did everything with, right? And then after a while, Miriam had introduced us to her friend who lived at Hill College House, one of the other dorms on campus, and then it was like the five of us, right? So looking back just on that semester, like Marie used to like exhibit a lot of unhealthy behavior, but I feel like since we were all freshmen, like we were all trying to navigate the school, trying to figure out like our schedules, trying to balance, you know, social life, work, whatever, you know, we were all starting to adjust. So like any one things that she would do here and there, like it would get brushed off. It wasn't like until you like really sit down and talk about it, it's like, oh wow, like yeah. So I feel like essentially like at the root of all of this, like she had a lot of like insecurity issues with herself, and like I guess with her relationship with her sister. She was a little on the heavier side in comparison to like her sister, who was a lot skinnier and who would be considered conventionally pretty. So I feel like she often would compare herself to her sister, and that led to a lot of like insecurity within her. And I feel like a lot of like the behavior that she exhibited was because of that relationship with her sister. So yeah, like I remember just like aside from the situation, like she would seek out a lot of male attention. Like, she would always be trying to get somebody to dance with her at parties, or trying to get people to kiss her at parties. Like, if she ever saw me and Rugi dancing, like, she would immediately just go try and find somebody to dance with. Like, and we would always try and be like, yo, like, you don't have to do that. Like, somebody's gonna come to you, you know, you don't have to do all that. But like, it was really hard to get through to her because she had that idea in her head, right? So her and the girl that she met at Hill, let's call her Leslie. So Marie and Leslie, right? They were extra cool, right? I mean, like, it was essentially like, after she introduced us to Leslie, it was like the five of us, but Marie and Leslie had, like, they were closer, because, like, I guess they had this like shared Arab experience. Leslie was from Saudi Arabia, Marie was from Morocco, so they had that just shared, like, experience together that, I mean, essentially we couldn't connect to, so they really bonded over that. But even though they were really close, I think that really, she started to really compare Leslie to her sister, which essentially, I guess, tarnished that relationship and started to, like, give her, like, this view of Leslie that was different than she used to have. So around at Penn, like, we do our housing assignments for the next year at the beginning of the spring semester. So, like, once we get back in January, it's like basically like 2 weeks or so, and then boom, you have to choose your assignment for the next year. So around like November-ish, we started like talking like, oh, like, what are we gonna do for next year? What are we gonna do for next year, right? So we were like, oh, we're all cool, so like, we'll keep the triple that we had from last year and then just add Leslie in, so we'll have like a quad. We'll figure out where we're gonna go, but like, essentially that's what we're gonna do. But Marie started acting real shady around this time, especially towards Leslie. Like, she would just, I don't know, she would always act like, she would always pretend, like, be like, oh yeah, like, that's cool, like, I can't wait. But once it was just the three of us, she would always, she would be like, oh yeah, I can't wait to live with Leslie. But then she'd, like, we'd be talking about something, and then she'd be like, oh, like, I haven't seen my mascara in, like, this many days, and I'm pretty, like, the last person I who had it was Leslie, you know, like, I don't know, I let her use it for something, and I haven't seen it since then. Like, I'm pretty sure she stole it. And then we were like, what? She's stealing from you? What? Did you talk to her, like, or whatever? But she would keep bringing up stories like this. It would always be something new, like, oh, I just bought this the other day and now I can't find it. I'm pretty sure Leslie took it. I'm pretty sure Leslie stole it from me. And we'd be like, if this girl is stealing from you, you need to confront her. Like, Rugi and I were like, I'm not about to live with a thief. Like, I'm trying to, like, I don't have time to be dealing with people stealing my stuff. Like, you need to confront her. Like, if she's your friend, you need to talk to her. And she would just start making excuses like, oh, no, I never actually said, like, she stole it. Like, I just was like, no, like, I don't think she actually took it, blah, blah, blah. And then we'd be like, okay, if you're not sure, then why would you say that she took it? So we would just be like, okay, whatever you say, it's your stuff. Like, if she didn't take it, she didn't take it. But literally every time the three of us were out, or if Abraham was there too, she would just start spewing at the mouth of how Leslie was a thief, Leslie was taking her stuff, Leslie was stealing her makeup, Leslie was doing all this stuff. And it honestly was kind of unfathomable to us, because we were like, why would this girl be stealing from you? But again, you don't know what's going through people's heads, so we were like, okay, if she's stealing from you, you need to talk to her, because I'm not about to live with a thief. You shouldn't be allowing this girl to steal from you, especially if she's your friend, especially if we're friends with her. Like, what is going on? So we were like, yeah, no, Marie, you need to confront her. You need to do something. And she would always brush it off. And it was just getting to a point where we were like, you know, this is getting kind of crazy. I don't know. I'm not understanding what's going on. Like, so one day we went to Hill Dining Hall, which was the dining hall in the dorm that Leslie lived at. Yeah. I don't think Marie was there. Yeah, I don't think she was there. So it's me, Abraham, and Ruby, right? And we're just talking, we're discussing or whatever, like, chilling, chit-chatting, as we normally would. And then, that topic came up. And we were just like, this seems like really, I don't know, suspicious. Like, I'm not understanding why she keeps telling us this girl is stealing from her, and that, maybe we shouldn't live with her, but then she'd backtrack and be like, I didn't really mean that. Like, we were just like, I'm not understanding why she keeps doing this. Like, we need to figure out, like, what the truth is, because at the end of the day, like, I can't live with someone who's stealing from me. I can't do that. So, I think I had practice, so I was like, I'll see y'all later, whatever. But, let's table this. We'll figure out what we're going to do. Tell me why. Apparently, they had gone up to Leslie's room after, because whenever we go to Hill, we usually just go chill out in her room because she lives there. And Du Bois is mad far from there. Like, it's a walk. So we'd always chill for a little bit, digest, lay down, and then go back to our room. So they went up there. Tell me why. Apparently, they had told... Oh, wait, no, I don't think they did it then. They just went up there, talked to her for a bit, whatever. But then afterwards, they called her. I believe it was specifically Abraham who called her and was like, Leslie, Marie has been telling us, like, you're stealing from her. Is that true? Something like that, She was like, yeah, is that true? Is that true? And the homegirl was basically crying on the phone, like, no, why would she say that about me? She was quite upset about it because they were really close. They were actually really close. So she was like, I don't get it. Why would she say that about me? So then Leslie goes and calls Marie and is like, why are you lying on me? Why are you saying this to them? Blah, 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 all this other stuff, right? So we had a group chat, of course, at that time. So, Ruby and I get a text from Marie like, oh, why would you guys tell her that? I'm not living with you guys next year. Something else, blah, blah, blah. Started going off on this, right? So then we're like, wow, first of all, I'm like, I wasn't even there. I didn't even know Abraham was going to call you, blah, blah. Ruby and I are both like, I didn't even do anything in this situation, right? So I'm pretty sure maybe we tried to reach out to her like once after that. But after that, it was like, it's case, it's over. Like, first of all, you were the one that was lying. And you didn't even want to sit down and maybe like discuss it. Maybe we could have came to like an understanding, something like that. Nope. So whatever, it was over. But mind you, this is only our first semester, right? So the three of us still live together. So, and it was honestly, this happened like right. So like, yeah, we had started discussing this around like November. We were still talking about it. Thanksgiving came around. We had like a cute little Friendsgiving. We went home, came back. Then everything started to hit the fan, right? So, it's still first semester, whatever. So essentially, she never spoke to us again. We never really spoke to her. She would act like she was afraid of us. Whenever we'd come into the room, she'd run from the sink to her room. All this other stuff. It was like a whole thing. And then she started, I don't know, it was like she was trying to sabotage us or something. So, like when you don't do certain things. So they used to give us like a form to fill out before the end of before we left for break. You had to fill it out so that like when the end of the school year came fully, if there was anything wrong, they would charge you because they do inspections. Like I think it was like fall break, winter break, and then of course at the end of the year. So whoever was the last person to leave had to fill out the form. So I always dip early for breaks. Like that's my thing. I always dip early for breaks, because like the people in the they miss me, But yeah, besides that, I always leave early for breaks. So I was the first one out. Ruby lives right there in Philly, so she could leave whenever. But she made sure that she left before Marie. So I remember this essentially because Ruby was like, when she left, Marie was in the shower. Like, she heard it. The girl stuff was not gone. She was there. And, you know, like, she has to catch her flight because she lives in Mass. So we get back, and apparently our form was not filled out. So our GA, which is like, it's an RA, but they only have grad students that do it, so they call them GAs in Duke Boys. So our GA, we get an email from our GA like, oh, we need to have a meeting or something because y'all didn't fill out your form. You know, if something happened, then you could have been charged, right? So then we get to the meeting, and then I'm like, oh, well, I left first, and Rugi told me that Marie was still in the room when she was here. And then Rugi's like, yeah, Marie was still here. She was in the shower when I left, I saw her stuff. Everything was still here. And then Marie's like, no, I left before either one of them. And I was like, I know that's a lie. I know that's a lie. And she was like, yeah, no, I left before them. I don't know what they're talking about, all this other stuff. And so it was just like, you're still lying. Why? But yeah, after that, we were just like, you know what, I'm cool off the situation. Like, I really do want her to get some help, like, because it really seemed like a lot of her issues were stemming from her relationship with her sister. So honestly, they had counseling at Penn. You know, we were like, we were honestly scared for her at the time because we're like, I don't know, anything could happen. Like, she's going about things the wrong way, and now she's shut us out. So I don't know what to do. But yeah, the rest of that year, for like basically the entire semester, we didn't talk to her. You know, we would be in our room, but I mean, we mostly hung out like at Abraham's room because he lived next door. Yeah, we were just like, honestly, to this day, I have no bad blood with homegirl. I don't think anybody has bad blood with homegirl. It made for an interesting first semester, that's to say the least. And what is that? And honestly, I feel like she had a lot of issues that she needed to work out with herself, and she started to take it out on us. So I just really hope that, you know, she got the help that she needed, and that honestly, I hope that she's in a better place. You know, she was in a pretty hard major, and that is really difficult. So honestly, I hope her senior year goes well. We straight positive vibes over here. But yeah, that was essentially it. That was my crazy freshman year roommate story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a huge thumbs up. Comment down below what other videos you would like to see. Comment down below what you liked about the video. Just comment. But yeah, tell your friends, and of course, if you aren't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the little bell next to it, so that you're notified every time we post. Until next time, I'm Kay. This is NellecommaKay. We'll see you next week.